Hi everyone, in this video we'll discuss the next topic, that is the static testing. Okay, we have various types of testing processes. Like we have alpha testing, the beta testing, system testing, integration testing, so etc. So many testing processes are available. So, but the static and dynamic are the very basic testing processes. Now, what is actually the dynamic? What happens in the dynamic testing is we execute our code, we execute our program, and we test. We carry out this testing process. But in case of a static testing, we just review our code. Just manually we review our code. So that is what actually the static testing means. Static testing means we are not executing our code or program. We're just manually going through or analyzing the code. Now here what actually happens, without executing the program, the testing carried out is called as static testing. Without executing the program means without executing our application, without running our application, the static testing is carried out. Okay, so that is why the term static testing is called, this testing is called static testing. Now work product is analyzed and checked for errors. Now here in the manual review process, static testing is nothing but the manual review process. Now work product is analyzed. See, the work product means as the overall development life cycle. We can consider the different life cycle phases. We can call it as a work product. Okay. Now we are going through we are just analyzing the work products by using a static testing process and errors also, and we are going to check the errors. Now, the static testing of the code is very common. Though the static testing is very common, it can be applied to any work product. So, the any work product means, so the static testing means the manual review process. So, the manual review process is of a code. Manual review process of the code is very common. See, the very commonly used testing process, that is what the static testing. It can be applied to any work product. Any work product means any development life cycle, any development life cycle or any phase of the development life cycle. Now there are two ways in which the static testing is carried out. The first one is the manual review of the work product. Manually we are reviewing the work product. Next is using static analysis tools. We have some static analysis tools. For example, the very simple one is the Gantt chart or PERT chart or scheduling charts we can see. So those also indirectly we can consider those also called as a static analysis tools. Okay, so what does see, before going to the dynamic testing, the project managers and the programmers, they all go through the static testing process. Static testing process. So why they go through the static testing process means, so indirectly static testing process means the manual review. So before going to dynamic testing, they go through the manual code review or the manual review process. Now here we'll see what are the advantages. Before going to start, we'll discuss what are the advantages. So static testing done to find the defects during the entire development life cycle. Now the static testing done to find the defects during entire development life cycle, that is entire work product. So now here what happens, so we have a various documents available with us with respect to that particular software. The first one is specification document. Specification document is nothing but a requirement specification document, and we will take a specification as far as system requirement specification document and check whether each and every requirement of the user is specified or not. In the static testing process, each and every specification is or every requirement is specified or not. By using a specification document, we check. Next, we take a design document. In the design document, what actually happens is we design a document or we design modules by depending on the requirement specification document, and we prepare a design document, and we take the design document and check whether the design will take care of all the specification in the requirement specification document or system requirement specification document. Okay, we take the design document and check whether the design will take care of all the specification or not. Now next process is we take a source code. We take a source code and check whether the source code implement all the details. So now here the first phase First document available with us is SRS document, that is the system requirement specification. By using we check SRS specification document or SRS document whether all the requirements of a user is specified or not. We take that the next further steps or the further processes after the SRS documentation. The next is the design documentation. Design documentation is nothing but we just design some modules or some codes, okay, as per the SRS document, and we will check whether the design will take care of all the specifications which are mentioned in the SRS document or not. And next is next process is we design a source code, means we write a code for our software. We write a code, that is what the source we call it as the source code, and we check whether the source code implements all the details or not, whether the source code is implementing all the details depending on the design document or a specification document. If the source code is not written as per the organization company standard or static analysis services, it's one of the advantage. We can consider this as one of the advantage. Like a source code is if we have already written a source code and we are checking whether the source code is as per the organization or a company standard. We are checking whether the source code is written as per the organization standard or company standard. Now this analysis reveals this. Static analysis reveals this, whether we are following coding standard as per the organization. So now this is one of the advantage we can consider. Next, it is easy to find incorrect interface specification and interoperability specification. So one more advantage is find the incorrect interface specifications. Interface specification, or the interface here is the connectivity. We can say interface or different connection between the specification or the functionalities or the modules. Now interoperability. The term interoperability specification means the interface, or we can say the connection between some functionalities or some specification. Okay, and now it is very easiest by using a static testing process. Now easy to find out the missing requirements. Okay, missing requirements. So in the static testing process or in the manual review process, it is very easy to find out the missing requirements. What are the missing requirements? Whether we missed or we skipped any requirement in our module or in our design or in our source code, we are going to find out those missing requirements. And those can be revealed in a static testing process. Okay, one of the advantage we can say. So next is what are the advantages of static testing. Now incorrect and missing specification can be found at early stage of development, because since this is a manual review process, okay, some missing and incorrect specification can be found at early stage of development. Now what is the outcome of here? The outcome is hence a lot of rework is reduced. Because at the early stage only we find some defects or some incorrect or missing specification. No, it is not going to be the hectic process of modification is reduced in the future development life cycle. Okay, so that is the use or benefit or advantage of static testing. Next is the incorrect design can be found early, and hence the life cycle time is reduced. Incorrect, if you go through the manual review process at the early stage of development or at the designing phase. Now it's designing phase is the early stage, because it's the second phase of a development life cycle we can consider. The next is hence the life cycle time is reduced. How the life cycle time is reduced means any defects are found or any specification missed or any missing requirement, those all found at the early stage or a design stage. So that is the life cycle time is reduced, because the future work or a rework is reduced, completely reduced. Okay, next is specification can be checked against the code, so that if some requirements are not implemented, they are detected early. Means specification can be checked against the code. So the term specification against code means we are checking whether we have written a code which are as per the specification or not. We are checking that the code we have written, it is as per the requirement specification or not. Next, so that if the requirement are not implemented, they are detected early. So what is the benefit here is checking the specification against code is if any requirements are not implemented as per the design document or a system requirement specification document or SRS document. If you have not implemented any of the requirements, so those are detected at the early stage. Okay, those are detected early stage. Now it can ensure that the code is as per the requirement and the coding guidelines and the standards are followed. Okay, the static testing or manual review process ensure that the whether the code we have written is as per the requirement, whether we are following all the coding guidelines or the coding standards. So following the coding guidelines and the coding standards of any particular organization that helps in a maintenance process in the future. So the term maintainability becomes easier. Okay, this term, the maintainability becomes easier if you follow some coding standard guidelines or some coding standards. Now the next is time, effort, money required for the total development life cycle will be reduced. The total budgeting process is going to be reduced. Total budgeting process is going to be reduced. Like budgeting processes are like budgeting factors like time, effort, and money. Those all are going to be reduced. Okay. Next, indirectly, the employee productivity also is going to increase. Okay. Next, these are some advantages of static testing. Next, we'll see what is the manual review. As I said, the static testing is carried out on different ways, two ways. The first one is the manual review of the work product. The first one is the manual review. Second is using static analysis tools. Now we'll see what is the manual reviews. So here the manual reviews means the manual review means indirectly the one more term we can say that manual review is the one more term for a static testing. Now here the manual review means in the static testing, manual reviews are the most effective mechanism. In the static testing, the manual review is the most effective mechanism to find out the defects. Now the manual review can be applied to any of the work products, such as the first. So this is a manual review is nothing but a static testing process. So this can be applied with any of the work products, such as SRS document, design document. What is the use of SRS document, design document? We already discussed. And the source code, we apply on source code. We apply on a test plan. We apply on a acceptance test plan, and the test cases. And test scripts and user manuals. Okay, so these are the work products on which we can apply the manual review process or static testing process. Okay, we'll see one by one. See the formal review process. This is a subtopic within a manual review process. So what is a formal review process? The formal review first, in generally, formal review process means analyzing or manual reviewing process through the meetings. Okay. Now reviews are done through the formal review, formal meetings. Project manager will generally plan formal reviews for various work products and consist of following steps. Here the formal review means reviews are done through the formal meetings. So here the most responsible person is the project manager, is generally plan what is the formal reviews or various work product. So what we see the job for project manager is a plan for the formal meetings or formal review meetings. Now this consists of the following steps. Within a formal review process, we have some steps like defining a review objective. A review objective means the project manager should decide or define what is the main objective for the particular formal review process or formal meeting process. Now the manager has to define what are the objective of a review. What actually the objective? What are the objectives? So of the formal meeting. So objectives can be to detect the defects. The objective can be detecting any defects, or to detect the defects and how to rectify them, or to assign a responsibility to persons for rectifying the defects. So these are some of the objective of the formal review process. Okay. So coming to the next point, the next step. Next is the identifying the review team. So obviously we have review process. We have the review team, and this review team consists of authors, reviewers, secretary, moderator, manager. Okay, these are some participants in the review team. Okay, next the project here the project manager has to form the review team consisting of the author. The first one is the author. The author are nothing but the authors of the work product that is being reviewed. See, authors are the these are the person. The authors are the person of a work product. That is, these authors are going to review the work product. Okay, authors. Next is the reviewers. So what is work of a reviewer is two or more reviewers who have a necessary application domain knowledge, programming knowledge, and business process knowledge. So these reviewers are some the persons with some particular domain knowledge or some business process knowledge or some application knowledge. So these are some reviewers, two or more reviewers, maybe two or more reviewers. They should have within a review team. Next is secretary. Now the secretary, what is the job of a secretary? Secretary is a person whose job is to just record the proceedings of the meeting, note down the important points, discuss and follow up actions agreed to. Now here the secretary is a person who record the proceedings, or we can say in the general term like minutes of meeting. Okay, recording minutes of meeting and all. This is the work of a secretary. See just the proceeding of the meeting and note down the important points discussed. What is the follow action what is the follow up action needed, or what is the follow up actions agreed to. This is the work of a secretary. Next is the moderator. Here the moderator is a person who steers the review meetings. He is just like a director. He knows at what direction the meeting is going through. So now the moderator, and it is likely that there will be different point of view. Sometimes the author and reviewers may argue moderator has to moderate the discussion. Means, see, moderator, the work of a moderator is to manage the meeting process go smoothly. To manage the overall meeting process should go smooth in a smoother way or in smoothly. So that is the work of the moderator. Next is the manager who identifies the objectives, plans, review meetings, provides the necessary infrastructure and resources, and reviews the outcome of the meeting. So overall, here the manager plays an important role because he is the only person who is going to identify what are the objectives and what are the test plan review meetings, and provide any necessary infrastructure and resources and review what is the outcome of and reviewing the outcome of the meeting. So this is all the work of a manager. Okay. Next step is this is all about in this video. We'll discuss in the next video the plan. There are some other steps out there in the formal review process. So we'll discuss in the next video. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.